Hello, you. So if you've lost someone you love and you'd like to have a little bit of art therapy today, then let's spend some time together because I too have lost someone I love. I lost my son 12 years ago, and I have done a lot of art featuring him or featuring the concept of him because I find it healing. It honors the short life that he lived. He was 19, and it reminds me of him and keeps his memory alive. So if that's something that's interesting to you, then let's spend some time on the paint table together. Hi guys. So I've had a couple of requests for these little ethereal beings that I call spirit beings. This is a notebook that I made. And I'm going to not try to reproduce it because that's a recipe for failure. But what I'm going to try to do is create some papers, not a lot because I'm going to do something on an 11 by 14 canvas when I'm done. But create these beings, show you how I did them. I'm going to put them on a canvas. I'm going to put some papers. I've got some paint colors already picked out. So let's just see where we go with this. Okay, these little beings are my interpretation of a man that I saw on YouTube who was making gel prints using highly much more sophisticated than this people, and I was very inspired by it. So I've interpreted it into something that I can relate to. And it's just a piece of cardstock. I drew them very, very loosely. I mean, you can't even draw these wrong because we don't know what spirit beings look like. Can't draw them wrong. So the part that you cut out is called the mask. The part that you leave behind is called the stencil. So a stencil reveals whatever's underneath it is going to show through, and a mask conceals whatever's underneath it is going to be hidden. So let me just take you on a quick little tour of, these are prints that I made when I made that first one for the book. And there's some things about them that are successful. Some things that are about them that are not. So one of the things that I came to realize through the process is that I would like my beings, similar to these beings, I would like my beings to be a light color with a dark sky. Okay, so I've got light color beings with a sort of darkish sky behind them. Same thing here, but this is a light sky. Okay, you get the basic idea. You don't get into your head about this. Just make a bunch of pages and pick the one that makes you feel good. Just as a critique, this much pattern behind the beings and this much pattern behind maybe the sky, I find distracting. So I probably won't use anything nearly as large as that. Guys, you're not going to believe what I just did. I literally just recorded about 10 minutes of me totally in my head and unable to do anything, including talk, which is really rare. So I gave myself a break. I went and calmed down, and now I'm back, and I am not going to make a plan. There's no plan here. I'm going to use these, either this stencil or this mask, to create some layers. I'm going to make a bunch of them, and you can watch, okay? All right, let's get started. Finally, let's get started. I'm going to start out with Payne's Gray for reasons I can't explain, because it's actually fun to lay down. A little bit of gray. And like I said, no plan. I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here. And you know what? This process, if you think you've got a plan and you think that you can actually make it happen, then more power to you, because I think the best laid plans, how does that go? You know what it means. All right. There's a pretty dark background. I'm going to just pull this layer, and I'm going to pull it on my roll-off sheet. And that came out pretty clean. It's actually a very pretty color as well. Okay. Here, where am I going to put that? Go there. Okay, now I'm going to do something similar, but this time I'm going to go with parchment and maybe more of it. So what I'm doing right now, guys, is I'm going to make backgrounds. It's taken me a long time to learn not to texture my first layer because I don't want the white paper necessarily showing through, unless I do. Right now I don't. I'm just looking for some backgrounds upon which, oh, what a pretty color, huh? Upon which I can texture. And this doesn't seem to care if it's on a roll-off sheet, so it doesn't seem to, yeah, you can see the little line up the middle, but it's a background layer. Background layers are meant to be covered. They're just a way to start. Very, very pretty color. This is so much better than having a planchery. Oh my God, I was driving myself crazy, guys. Just trying to figure out how to get a particular result. I don't know how to get particular results. I just don't. I know how to get the result that comes off the plate at the time. I really do like that color. Now I want to break my own rule and maybe do something like this. This is a toilet paper roll with string wrapped around it. I've had it for a long time, so it doesn't pick up paint clean any longer. I may need to remake it. But let me just see what that does. And that does something quite respectable. That kind of has that horizontal, maybe clouds or layers of consciousness. Who knows? Who knows where they are or what they're doing? The only thing we know for sure in this life is that unless we go first, we are going to lose everybody we love. Makes me have a catch in my throat just thinking about it. We're going to lose them all. And they're going to lose us. It is the great human uniter, in humanity. Part of the reason these spirit beings are so attractive to me and the reason I got involved in spiritualism is because I'm an angel mom. I lost my son maybe 13 years ago in August. And I have been endlessly perplexed that someone can be in the next room being my son was a huge pain in the ass. He was 6'5". He was 200 pounds when he left. And that boy gave me a run for my money. But you know what? I did the same thing to my parents. They didn't know what they signed up with for me. And I didn't either with Neil. So when Neil left, I was so bewildered by the fact that he's gone in ways that you would be. Well, I do like that pattern on there. That I spent almost every waking day trying to understand, what is this thing that we go through? Why are we even here if we're just going to just disappear one day and fly off into the great blue yonder and leave everybody behind, not knowing what the hell happened? What is this? So I have spent the last 13 years trying to find my son, and I haven't found him. However, I do hear from him. So this whole afterlife thing to me is very interesting. I just feel like I need to just, hold on a second. You gotta go. Yeah, this whole afterlife thing for me is very interesting. I am curious about it. I think about it often. I talk about it a lot. I have not come to any conclusions, because you know what happens when you start questioning the nature of reality. Oh, look at that beautiful color. That's got some, ooh, love that. When you start questioning the nature of reality, you find out that everything that you have been taught is fairly incorrect. Look, I just made this for you guys. I thought it might look like, I don't know, like clouds, but we'll see. I don't know what it's going to roll like. Let's see. I wanted it to look like rolling hills or something like that. Use the same thing. Yeah, so like I said, I haven't come to any conclusions. That's interesting. But he's still gone. It doesn't matter how much sympathy I get from the world or how perplexed I am or how much I wish things were different. He's gone, and he's apparently not going to come back. So, like, you know, I have said a million times that mothers have been burying their sons since the beginning of time, not just their sons and their daughters. I haven't gone through anything that's so outrageously unusual. It's just, this is a piece of carpet non-skid something. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I had such fun with it the other day. Yeah, moms have been burying their sons since the beginning of time. I'm not an anomaly. This is a very complicated life. None of us really know why we're here. A lot of us don't even question it, which is, I find that remarkable because it's my life. My whole entire life is questioning life. Like, what the heck is this thing that we're doing? I wish I had put that over a color, because look how pretty that is. Okay, I'm going to bring out these spirit guys, these beings. And I've only got a handful of layers here, but I do want to make other stuff. So I've got, let me just show you what I've got. This one, that one. I do like the texture. I probably should have done that to begin with, but that one, dark texture. I'm going to, since this is sort of light, and I might get light colored beings. And by the way, just so you know, if you want your people, I want my small person, my child person, to be on the right-hand side, which means I have to print it on the left-hand side, so when you pull it up, it'll be on the right-hand side. So I'm going to add, I'm going to use this one first, Payne's Gray. A little bit of black. Really, Sherry? It's okay. A little bit of raw umber. Okay, let's see what we get here. I have a lot of layers going on here, guys. Just so you know, if any of you find the fact that I call you guys weird, you have to know that I grew up, it's going to go like that. Okay, I grew up 30 miles north of Boston. Everyone is a guy, whether you are or not. Should I texture that? I feel like I should. Yeah, everybody's a guy. Even old people. We're all guys. We're going to do to the sky. All right, let's see what happens. I'm an old lady now. Or at least that's what they tell me in the statistics. And I can't stop making everybody a guy. Okay, there are some, I like that interesting sky there. So these are dark beings. What I really wanted was light beings. How am I going to get that? Let's figure that out. Ah, see what I should have done? Okay, guys, I'm figuring it out. Hold on a second. Let me get rid of it. Let me get this on here so it can start soaking it up. Okay, if I had wanted light beings, I would have used the mask instead. I would have covered them up and used the mask instead. And then I would have a dark outside and a light inside. Ah, food for thought, because they are light beings. That's what they say we return to when we're done. Just another sheet I can use for roll off. Okay, let me try that then. Oh, look at that, guys. All right, that's the dark sky. Here are my beings. I freaking love that. Are you kidding? Okay. What did I just do? I did it with a clean piece of paper. I forgot to do it on my background. Okay, those are definitely light beings. Let's okay, and there's some little beings left behind there. Let's see what they look like on top of, let's see what they look like on top of this. See? I think they're going to be very ghostly. That might be a happy accident. You see what a challenge it is when you decide you want a certain result and you're not skilled enough to get it? Which is why I remind myself all the time that this is an experiment. Do what you want. Let's see what happens to these little guys when they've got a plaid jacket on. Okay, I'm going to pull this with that. There's no alignment or registration or anything. It's just going to overlap however it will. Sometimes those are the happiest accidents. You know, when I was making my giving cards, I made some of the most frightening art I've ever seen. And oh, that added an interesting dimension. Look at what that did. Very interesting. Yeah, some of it was very frightening. I was embarrassed. I didn't even want my friend Cindy, who was working with me, I didn't even want her to see it. So I kept covering it up. And in the end, oh my gosh, they were the best pieces of work I'd done. So don't be scared of ugly art. Just make it pretty. Keep going. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 4 more sheets left for people, and then I'm going to move on to other papers so I can make this collage. So none of these are light, but you know what? Whatever, just use them, Cherie. Start with this one, and you can still go dark over that. So let's even go darker. I feel like I should do those this way so it opens up. Put them down that way. Let me just... like the little holes of that. Let's see what happens. They're pretty. They're light-ish. This is going to be my sky. No, don't talk. Don't talk, Cherie. Just paint. Just do this without turning it into an intellectual pursuit. No thinking. Oop, sorry. Excuse me. All right, so this is light. So I want to have light beings. So I need to expose the light beings. Which means I need a stencil. Okay, I want my small person on the right, so I'm going to put him on the left. Oh, now this might be what I was looking for. I wish it were a little more textured. But those are my light people, and I can put the golden around them. Okay, change your plans. I'm going to go back to a technique that I learned from artist Kerry Griffiths, which was putting some textures on this through stencils. And I want to show you what this did, which made me think this was the way to go. Okay. So I made this the other day when it was called something like multi-layer, whatever, multi-layer papers. Look at, doesn't that look like, I don't know, doesn't it kind of look like a wing? Or doesn't it sort of look like, come here people, some clouds in the sky or something? So yeah, I want to do this somehow. I'm going to start with this sheet that I made for beings, but I'm going to do something with this I don't want to start second guessing myself, so I'm going to lay that there. Where's my little gadget? I bought this thing. It is called a blending tool. It is awesome. Instead of getting your fingers all covered with paint from using a sponge, and I find that if I add a little bit of water to that, I get better results. So look at, and I like to keep that fairly dry so that it doesn't, watch this, guys. Look at that. Look at how pretty that is. I feel like I want to cover this paper with these because somehow I feel like I'm going to be able to tear that up. And just kind of fades off if you don't keep adding paint to it. It just sort of fades off into the loveliness. Look it. Okay. I don't know what we're going to do with this, but look at how pretty it is. So pretty. Okay. I'm drawn to this one. That one. And possibly this one. So I know that I want to feature these people, these beings, in the middle. Cut some of that off. Scale of this seems more, this might be the one I'm going to go with. So now what I want to do is I want to play around with what's going to go behind this. I could potentially cut away this light sky and use this shape and put possibly, as an example, some of these pretty ethereal looking shapes behind it. That actually feels like a good direction. All right, now that I've got an idea, I need things that are going to go with it that will be strong enough to not disappear behind it. Let me figure that out for a second. I'm having the thought that along this bottom edge, I would like there to be irregular edges that'll go from one end to the other. That will be, it'll be a cloud, it'll be something. So I'm going to tear these up, and if it's tedious when I'm editing, I'll get rid of it. I'm trapped, guys. I'm trapped in my head. I've torn up these pieces of paper because I wanted that organic edge, and when you tear it off once it's painted, you get a white edge, which I have not figured out how to conquer. I'm going to work without talking because I think the talking is distracting my brain. So I'll speed through it if it's torture. But I'm going to just play with these and see what I can get for clouds on the bottom of my spirit beings. This was not part of the plan, but it has become part of the plan. Okay, I've cleaned this place up and I have a pile here that I want to show you. I don't know why that raggy color appeals to me. It keeps showing up in my pile. But this is the group of beings that I've decided to work with. Because I know I'm going to embellish them. I'll put gowns on them and halos and such like that. I have no idea what appeals to me about this area there, but it does. So that's a keeper. I find this really interesting. They are wings, they are clouds, they are, I don't know what they are, but I like them. So I'm going to, the process of watching someone collage can be long. So I'm going to, oh, I didn't show you these. These I did the other day. The video was called something like multi-layer blah blah blahs, but I really like the way it feels with some of this teal, and it gives me something that doesn't look like I made it the same day but is interesting with it. So I've got that, and probably I'll find some black and white. This is going to be a no talking process. I'll just let my brother play guitar for you in the background. Those are those strips that I created that I may or may not use. Let my brother Russell play guitar because he sings like a freaking angel, but I can't let him sing because copyright. And I'm going to make a collage. All right, guys, we have a little bit of a change of plan because my technology has failed. So you're going to hear a difference in the audio and probably in the quality of the video as well. I have finished this collage, but my iPhone 6S, that has been a faithful servant for a very long time, no longer wants to work. Put that aside. I just finished this collage. I'm pleased with it. There's a few things that I would change if I were doing it over again. For instance, I'd like to take some white paint and soften, maybe brush it on with that blending tool and soften that. It's got a lot of activity going on, but it's a fun collage and I really enjoyed making it. So thank you for staying with me and watching these spirit beings come to life, I guess. And I enjoyed making it. I enjoyed sharing the process with you. If you are on a journey of grief, I really wish you fair winds, because it is a long journey. You don't get over losing someone you love, particularly if it's a child, but even it doesn't. I can't even believe I just said that. You don't get over losing someone that you love. You learn to live with it, and I guess that's what they would hope for us. So these are our spirit beings. These are the people that watch over us and whisper in our ear and guide us and encourage us, whether we are aware of it or not. We come from the light of thousands. My name is Cherie Burlington. I'm an artist, an errant, an angel mom, and I really enjoyed making this art with you today. And I hope you find a way to express your grief through art, because I promise you it's pretty healing. Thank you so much for staying until the end. You're my kind of person, and I look forward to seeing you at another video. Thank you. Goodbye.